They're fair. He's a 5-time champion, universally recognized as the greatest point guard in the history of basketball. I love Anthony Edwards. He's one of my top 2 favorite players in the game. And I'm praying he wins a championship because seeing this brother on national TV in the national spotlight is something that is beautiful for basketball fans everywhere. But when you come out with a statement that, you know what, the only skilled player was Michael Jordan, that's flagrantly disrespectful to the old guard. Larry Bird wasn't skilled.
To Magic.
Isaiah Thomas was one of the greatest skilled guards in the history of basketball. Magic Johnson was 6'9", a 6'9" point guard. We had never seen anything like him. And one of the things that I pay attention to, Shannon, is that I'm very apt in bringing up the fact that if it were not for the pioneers, others wouldn't be what they are. There's no way that you didn't mirror your game after somebody when you were en route to a Hall of Fame football career. Before there was Dr. J, there was Connie Hawkins, for crying out loud. Before there was Michael Jordan, there was Dr. J. Okay, before there was Vince Carter, there was MJ. Okay, before Kobe Bryant and stuff like that came later. So I look at it from that standpoint, and I'm of the mindset. Wait a minute here. I don't like that. You can't say something like that. But the other thing that I would say is this: understand how profound Magic Johnson's statement was when I was interviewing him at this event last week. What he said also applies to Charles Barkley. It applies to the Patrick Ewings of the world. It applies to Sean Kemp of the world, or Paul, even today, the Paul Georges of the world, the Russell Westbrooks of the world, and the James Hardens of the world, and various others. So Magic didn't sit up there and just say, today's generation. He said anybody who's played but hasn't won a title don't get to get my attention as to who I was or who anybody was that actually won championships. You know what I'm saying? In terms of measuring our skill level, because he's highlighting this far more that goes into it than what the human eye just sees on the basketball court.
And look, man, before we continue here, I completely understand Magic's point, but first off, look, Anthony Edwards, we don't know exactly who he's directing it to, so we can't sit here and be like, call him out for whatever the case is. Me personally, I think Anthony Edwards is wrong. When we talk about skill set and stuff like that, come on, these dudes had skill set. Anybody you could think of back then, not anybody, but when we talk about guards, skill set was there, even bigs. But they played such a basic team basketball game. Now, everybody wants to be show out. They got the cameras on them. Everybody wants to be a highlight reel for social media. Everybody wants to be creative. They see all these moves on Instagram, and now they just want to be creative. It's not that they have better skills. It's they want to be creative. Another thing is this. When it comes to basketball nowadays, you can get away with a lot of stuff offensively because half the time the defender's not really playing that much of defense how they used to back then in the day. I just watched All the Smoke, Kevin Garnett. And like he said, man, these dudes couldn't play with us back then. You try to come dunk on us like that, you might get your nose busted up. Bleeding, all kind of stuff, man. I mean, the talent thing, it makes no sense. And then as far as what Magic's saying, look, Edwards, you're not a champion yet. You talking like you're a champion. You better have some respect. You ain't a champion yet. We want you to be. We know you can be. We know you got the talent and the work ethic to be. We know how gifted you are. But don't sit up here and try to disrespect the OGs. You know what I'm saying, with a comment like that. That to me, that doesn't sit right. Not with me and not to a lot of these dudes out here, man.
Stephen A., I've known Magic Johnson 30 years, not as well as you know him.
Right.
I was shocked with the veracity in which he said what he said. Because normally Magic is a lot more diplomatic. He's a lot more PC.
Yep.
Now, behind the scenes, it's a whole different argument. But he's a lot more diplomatic, Steve.
Right.
He's a lot more diplomatic. For him to take that tone in the harshness in which he said it lets me know he was highly agitated by what Ant said. Now, Stephen A., it's hard for me to sit here, and as we was talking about with D.O. just a minute ago, evolution happens. These guys, they have better training, they have better nutrition, and they have the advent of having saw what those guys did and studied those guys. It's hard for me to believe that the inventions today are not better than some of the inventions we had 30 years ago. That just happens. Do I believe the players as a whole, there are more skilled players that can do multiple things? Akeem Olajuwon was highly skilled. I'm not so sure that we've seen a big man that can dominate both ends of the court like he could. The man did a quadruple double. They took one quadruple double away, said it was faulty. He went back and got another one 2 days later. So that just shows you the skill level. Yes, Bird was skilled. Magic was highly skilled, yes. But as a whole, Stephen A., it would be hard-pressed for you to say, having covered the game as long as you have, to say that there are not more skilled players, guys that can shoot, dribble, and do multiple things today than they were 20, 30 years ago. It's just not true because the guys have gotten better. The guys have practiced more. The guys have coached better. Their nutrition is better. Guys work out harder. The training, yes. But for Ant-Man to say that Mike was the only skilled player, and when you had Isaiah, you had Bird, and you had Olajuwon, nah, bro.
Adrian Dantley was...
For me, like I said, I think it's more than skilled players. I think, like I said, I think people are starting to get more creative. And Shannon's right. The technology nowadays, film, there's a lot of things that people back then, players back then did not have. Back then, it would show up, lace up, we stretch, and we ready. We got 2-3 practice shirts. That's it. These dudes got full-blown lockers, ice bath, nutritionist, like he said, massage therapist, 15 different shirts, people doing laundry, making sure your toes is cleaned up, man, all kind of stuff. I don't get it, you know. And how you gonna say only person back then had skill was Magic and not Kobe or anybody like that? Come on, man. You talking about Chris Paul was in that era? Steve Nash, Jason Kidd. There's a lot. Tim Duncan, Tony Parker. I can go on and on. That's just for one team. So I'm not sure what Edwards is talking about. I really don't. You know, it's disrespectful, and I get it. When you poke an OG like that and an OG, you know how they get. It's like, come on, dude. You couldn't play with us. We talking about the Paul Pierces. We talking about the Dwayne Wade. Come on. Come on now. You talking about Russ is in that area, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. You're not a champion yet. I think you will be. You got a tremendous skill set. But don't get ahead of yourself, Anthony. Respect the GOATs. Respect the GOATs. I mean, there has been a lot of players with skills who can play both defense and offense, both sides of the ball, as Shannon said. A real threat to the offense, too. So, this is not going to age well. There's going to be a lot of conversations around this. And, you know, Anthony Edwards is probably going to come out with some type of statement, letting it be known, like, man, I didn't. And again, we don't know who he's throwing it at. But the point is, you're just saying Michael was the only one who has skill set. Me personally, I think Kobe had the best skill set out of a lot of players. So I'm just thrown off by the whole conversation, man. But look, it's your boy CEO Khan. If you have not, make sure you guys sub to Game Day. I'll have plenty of conversations just like this for you guys. Plenty of content on the way. I'll catch you guys on the next video. All my new subs, everybody commenting down below. I appreciate you guys, man. Good or bad, whatever the case may be. It's all love on my end. I'm going to catch you guys on the next video. I'm out.